Bonjour tout le monde, bienvenue à Koala Hugs. Je m'appelle Kristen and today we're going to be talking about how to use gender agreement in French. But first, a disclaimer. Now, I'm not a French professor, but I am very passionate about the language and culture. I've been studying it for a few years now, in fact, and so I decided that I wanted to try to create a channel to make a space where anyone else who is interested in those things can come, no matter their level, and together we can learn how to appreciate and speak the cultures. Speak the language. Learn the culture, speak the language. So if that's you, please don't hesitate to click the notification bell for more videos and subscribe. Alright, c'est parti. Let's get started. Something you'll see throughout the French language is this idea of agreement or accordance, where when you have words, the words associated with each other, they'll match in number and in gender. So all nouns, you know, things, names, people, they can be put into two different categories. They're either masculin ou féminin, masculine or feminine. And this shows up a lot in things like la, le, un, et une. Keep trying to do this, but like I can't really hold down my fifth finger. Oh well. Le et un are masculine, et la et une are feminine. Le et la are the articles définis, the definite articles. This is a fancy way of saying the. Examples using the definite article would be le tigre, la lettre, le magasin, et la joie. Un et une are the articles indéfinis, the indefinite articles. This is the fancy term for the word a. Examples of this would be un pamplemousse, un feu, une banane. So in French, you might have seen the words les and el apostrophe, on top of also seeing le and la. So whenever you see les, that means the word is plural, and this is the plural version of the definite article, the plural version of the word the. If you see el apostrophe in front of a word, that is used whenever the word starts with a vowel and sometimes the letter H. An example of this would be the word hôpital. If I'm going to say the hospital, I say l'hôpital. It is essentially le hôpital, but you take off the E and you combine it to be l'hôpital. Like I said, throughout French, gender agreement is very important. Now, not just in nouns, but also in adjectives. For a good many of the adjectives in French, there's a feminine version and a masculine version. And while you might not necessarily always hear the difference, you will definitely see it whenever you read it. For example, there's nationalities. You could be Canadienne ou Canadienne, Grec ou Grec, Français ou Française. Descriptions: beau, belle, petit, petite, sérieux, sérieuse, intelligent, intelligente. Positions such as étudiant et étudiante, musicien et musicienne, and even colors, although again, sometimes you might not always hear it, and also not for every color. Let's use some of the words we learned earlier to make an example. If I wanted to describe a tiger as beautiful, I'd first have to remember that the word tiger in French is masculine. Then I have the word beautiful in French, belle and beau. The masculine version of beautiful is beau, so I would say un beau tigre. Now, if I had a dress is feminine in French, the word. And so I would use the word belle, une belle robe. Now, the truth is, it's rather arbitrary whether or not a word is masculine or feminine, and you do just have to learn it. But the more exposure you have to the language, the more you see the words in context, the easier it'll be for you to remember whether or not a word in particular is masculine or feminine, and when to use la or le or un or une. But I'll let you in on a secret. Something I wish I learned a long time ago. There's a bit of a cheat sheet that you can use to figure out when to use le or la when a word is masculine or feminine. Now also remember, it's more of a guideline than rules.
The code is more what you'd call guidelines than actual rules.
There's actually a lot of exceptions. In French, usually there's an exception to every rule, I feel. All right, so I'm going to put up right now on the screen a list of endings that if you see them, generally, again, not always, but generally, that means the word is feminine. So words, for example, like bicyclette would have a E-T-T-E at the end. So if you see that, then you know, oh, la bicyclette, c'est féminin. If you see E-N-N at the end, again, like Canadienne or musicienne, then you know it's feminine. Or S-I-O-N, sion, then you know for words like télévision, it's going to be la télévision. All right, so now what you see, if you see these endings, they are generally masculine. So âge, for example, you could see that in the word fromage, le fromage. Mon, le gouvernement. Or eau, as in en bateau. I definitely suggest taking the time to pause, rewind, and writing down these lists so you can always refer back to them whenever you're learning new vocabulary. And there's lots of different ways to learn whether or not something is masculine or feminine. You can try visualizing things. For example, in your head, picture a girl eating a banana, so then you'll remember it's la banane. Or maybe picture a man riding en vélo, a bike. You can always label things around the house in French along with the la, le, un, or un that it should be associated with. Something I noticed while learning a new language is that as more and more time goes and the more practice I have in that language, I start to kind of develop a sort of sense or instinct, particularly in French, on when something is right or wrong. Now, I'm not always right. Definitely not always right, but it does help me to just kind of trust that gut instinct and keep going. And this applies to things like when a word is masculine or feminine. Now, if you're speaking with a native French speaker, odds are they might correct you if you make a mistake, if you say le table instead of la table. Don't let this stop you or stress you out. Making mistakes is a huge part of learning a new language, and it's best to embrace it. Otherwise, the fear will keep you from speaking at all. I myself know that I make a ton of mistakes in this area, but I just keep going. And as long as they understand you in the end, I think it's a pretty good success. All right, quiz. See if you can figure out whether or not these words are masculine or feminine. And the answers will be down below. Alright guys, so merci beaucoup for watching this video. If you have any questions or comments, please, I'd love to hear them. And don't forget to smash that like button and hit subscribe. Till then, à la prochaine!